Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Mackenzie here, live representing YogaPod Fort Collins, and I decided to try something different today. It's so nice outside here in Colorado, so I thought I would try my setup outside. I am hoping that the sound and the lighting are going to be okay for you guys. So if you are watching, go ahead and give me some comments. Let me know how the sound, how the lighting is. I'm hoping that there's not going to be too much of a glare going on. I am just a couple minutes late, so I'm going to give it about a minute, let some people hop on, and then we'll get started with our basics flow. So today we are moving through back bends, but I like to refer to them more as heart openers. So you get a lot of the same actions within a back bend and a heart opener. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to give it just another minute or so, and then we'll get started. All right, again, thanks for joining. It's Mackenzie here, doing a little flow outside. So I hope the lighting and the sound is okay. For anybody who's watching, it looks like I see an eyeball on. Let me know how the sound and the lighting is. But again, we're gonna move through heart openers today in this basics flow. So doing a lot of opening of your shoulders, of your chest. Within that same motion, we're kind of opening up the full front side of your body and finding a lot of strength along the back side of our body. So for class today, I'm going to have you come into a child's pose. So it's a very typical posture to start a class in. We're going to come down onto our shins and then let your knees open wide towards the edges of your mat here. You're going to bring your toes together back behind you and sit your glutes down onto your heels. Now from here, we are going to fold forward. So begin to walk your hands forward, reaching your fingers out in front of you, and then maybe you bring your forehead or your chin down to the mat. Just settle in here. I usually maybe wiggle from side to side, kind of open up my hips a little bit more, settle in a little bit more. Continue to reach your fingers out in front of you and soften your chest down to the ground. Now from here, come up onto the tips of your fingers here, kind of cupping through your hands as if you're trying to protect a couple cupcakes, the frosting on the top of it. So here, it's gonna open up the chest a little bit more. We're gonna feel this more as a heart opener, as a chest or shoulder opener. Draw your shoulders down just a little bit. Keep breathing. Here at the beginning of class, I want you to tap into your Ujjayi breath. It's your deep, victorious breath. Mimics the sound of the ocean. So bring the inhales through your nose and the exhale also through your nose. Finding a slight constriction in the back of your nose and throat area. We're going to be here for one more round of breath. Now on your inhale, shift forward into a tabletop position here. So wrist under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Just taking this as a transition. Curl your toes and exhale, downward facing dog. So send your hips high, pressing the mat away from you through all 10 fingers. Again, just using this as a transition, go ahead and gaze to the top of your mat. Bend your knees. And on your exhale, walk your feet to your hands, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat. So here in our forward fold, you want your feet approximately hip width distance, toes pointing out in front of you. Now go ahead and find a slight bend in your knees if you have tight hamstrings, tight thighs, maybe some low back pain. Bend them as deep or as light as you need here. You really want to work the top of your head down towards the ground. This is going to take your gaze directly back behind you, lengthening out and opening up through your entire backside of your body. Finding some compression along the front. Now drop your hands, release them underneath your shoulders. Inhale for a halfway lift. Keep your fingers rooted into the ground. You want to lengthen through your spine, extend your head towards the front of the space. And exhale, fold forward. Again, bend your knees if you need. Drop your torso over your thighs. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers come to your shins or your thighs. Draw your shoulders back. Hug your low belly in. And exhale, fold forward. Let it go. Last one here. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers come to your shins, your thighs, wherever you'd like it to go. And exhale, fold forward. Now again, feet are hip width distance, root to rise. Inhale, extended mountain. Come to standing, bring your hands overhead, palms to touch. Exhale, draw your hands through heart center. Thumbs to your chest, pressing your palms together. Now move into mountain pose, Tadasana. So go ahead and drop your hands next to your body here, palms face forward. For the sake of the camera, I'm going to go ahead and face the camera, but keep facing towards the front of your space. So we want to find total engagement here. This may just look like I'm standing here, no engagement, but I am engaging all the way through my body, up through the top of my head. So to begin with our feet, lift your 10 toes off the ground. Really root down into the 4 corners of each foot. Imagine those roots growing down into the ground. And then slowly lower 1 toe down at a time, till you find a good, solid foundation beneath you. Now lift up through your legs, engage through your thighs, maybe lifting right above your kneecaps. Hugging in through your belly here. Find a very slight tuck of your tailbone. Lift up through the top of your head, draw your shoulders down your back, engaged through your arms, palms face forward. Close your eyes. Tadasana, mountain pose. Now we're going to move with our breath. Inhale, extended mountain, root to rise. Reach your arms overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Keep a flat spine the whole way down. Hinge at your hips. Again, soften through your knees if you need. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extended mountain, root to rise. Come standing, arms reach overhead. Exhale, draw your hands through heart center, thumbs to your chest. Inhale, extended mountain, Urdhva Hastasana, reach. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Send your hips back, reach through your heart towards the front of the space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, release, pour your heart over your legs. One more time, inhale, extended mountain, come to standing, reach overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, draw them to center. Inhale, reach overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, hinge at your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time on your exhale, go ahead and squat and curl into a little tiny yogi ball. Finding some compression, maybe you grab in front of your shins, one inhale. Stay for your exhale. Release your heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now listen up, a little bit different this time. Bend through your knees. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. So sink down through your hips. You're sending your hips back behind you, reaching your arms overhead. Hug in through your low belly here. So weight should be back into your heels, lifting through your heart and your chest. You don't want to be bending down forward. Reach up to the sky. One more inhale. And exhale. Hands through heart center. Straighten your legs, hinge at your hips. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time on your exhale, plant your hands, step back into a high plank position. So high push-up is this high plank. Our wrists are under our shoulders. We're thinking long line of energy through our body. So we're pressing the mat away from us. We're pressing right in between our shoulder blades, but we don't want our hips to pike too high. We want to draw them back to the midline. If you notice yourself sinking down too low into your hips, bring it back to the midline or drop to your knees at any time. Now keep breathing here. On your exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down onto your belly, using the strength of your arms to move all the way down. One round of cobra here. So hands directly under your shoulders. Root the tops of your feet into the mat so much you're pressing through your toes that your knees may lift off the ground. Starting with your chin to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Lift up through your head, your neck, your upper back. Strengthen through the backside of your body. And exhale, lower down. I know I said we're just doing one of those. We're actually going to do 3. So 2 more variations of cobra. Inhale, lift up. Soften through your belly. And exhale, lower, chin to the mat. Now last one here again, toes pressed into the mat, knees lift, inhale. And exhale, lower down. Go ahead and curl your toes. Inhale, high plank or tabletop. And then on your exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. So here in your downward facing dog, you really want to find a big, wide grip through your fingers. And you're going to bring some of the weight into your fingers here. This is going to release some pressure from your wrists, finding some length through your elbows, through your armpits, sending your hips up high as you work your chest towards the top of your thighs. Now bend your knees as much as you need in your downward facing dog. Back is long and straight. One more inhale. And exhale. Child's pose is where we'll meet. Drop to your shins, knees open wide. Soften here through your belly. Just a couple rounds of breath here in your child's pose. Let's talk through some points as we work through back bends or heart openers today. So again, working to open the chest, the shoulders, the heart. This also allows us to build a lot of strength within our spine. So we find more flexibility as we work through these back bends. Also, at the same time, we're going to be stretching through the hip flexors, which are these muscles right at the front of our hips. So as we're finding opening and expansion through our upper body, we are also stretching through the entire front side. Now, our hip flexors tend to get really tight as we sit, maybe at a computer, on a couch, maybe in a car. So the more we sit, those hip flexors start to shorten up. So opening up through our heart and chest is very beneficial to help open up through the front side of our hips as well. So while we're moving through this, again, we want to find the bend more in the mid to upper back. So we want to give some space to our low back. That is not where we want to be bending. We want to be lifting up through our heart first and then finding that bend in the mid to upper back. Our belly and our legs, the front side will stay soft. Strong engagement through the back and along our spine. And always we want to send our hips forward. So again, I will guide you through this, but just some things to think about. Opening up the heart physically can bring up a lot of energy. It can bring up a lot of emotions. We feel like we are exposed to the world when we're opening up our heart, our belly. This is just an area that we protect so much. So take notice of any of those feelings that may arise and come back to your breath. That is going to be crucial through your practice here. So one more round of breath in our child's pose. Inhale, shift forward into tabletop position here. So our hands are under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Now we're going to move through cat-cow here to begin. So inhale for cow, drop your belly, take your gaze up, filling up your legs along the way. And exhale for cat, press the mat away, tuck your chin, curl your spine. Inhale, cow, drop your belly, maybe soften through your elbows, gaze up, open through your heart. Exhale, cat, press it away, tuck your chin, bring your belly button up to your spine. Now 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale for cow. Exhale, cat, press through your knees, through your palms, find the flexion through your back. Inhale, cow, drop your belly, shine through your collarbone. Exhale, cat. Now move through 2 to 3 more rounds here at your own pace. Maybe adding in any extra movements that feel good with your spine. Close your eyes here as you move through this cat-cow. It's a nice, easy way to find that breath, body, mind connection. And then come back to center when you're done with those 2 to 3 rounds. Now from this tabletop, we're gonna move into a puppy pose. And to do that, we're just gonna start to walk our hands forward. Our chest is gonna drop along the way. So go as much as you can and then drop either your chin to the mat, maybe your forehead, whatever feels good. And you will notice here, this is a deep stretch through your shoulders, through your mid to upper spine. Keep your hips working up and towards the back of the space. Breathe into your heart, breathe into your chest, breathe into your shoulders. Keep breathing. 1 more round. Now to release, you'll just slowly start to walk your hands back into tabletop. Awesome job. 1 more round of cat and cow. Meet back in tabletop position. Curl your toes on your inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your hips high, lengthen through your legs and your arms as you press the mat away. Deep round of breath here. Exhale, go deeper. Now inhale, gaze to the top of your mat, bend your knees. And exhale with small steps, walk your feet towards your hands, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, let it go. Inhale, extended mountain root to rise. Reach all the way up overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, extended mountain, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, side bend to the right. Drop your right arm, reach your left arm first up and then over. We're gonna hold here for a full round of breath. So press down through your left foot. Reach through your left fingers, feeling that stretch along your entire left side body. Inhale, back to center, arms reach overhead. Exhale, side bend to the left. Drop your left arm, reach your right arm up and over. Rooting through your right foot, stretching through your right fingers, opening through the intercostal muscles, which are right in between your ribs. Inhale, back to center, reach up high, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, let it go. Round 2 of that. Inhale, extended mountain root to rise. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach. Exhale, side bend to the right. Again, feel the stretch and the opening through the left side. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, reach overhead. And on your exhale, cactus your arms. So create a goalpost with your arms here. Bringing them down, bend at the elbows, keep your fingers pointed up to the sky. Now, as you draw your shoulders back behind you, your chest is gonna open, your heart is gonna open. You wanna work your hips towards the front of the space. Maybe you gaze up, draw your shoulder blades together. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now plant your hands, step back into high plank. From your high plank, hold here. Drop to your knees. And exhale, lower by your arms all the way down onto your belly. One, cobra pose, hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lift up, cobra, Bhujangasana. Draw your shoulders and your elbows back behind. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tabletop, press up. Exhale, downward facing dog. One round here together, breathe in. Exhale, let it go. Moving along, inhale, right leg high. Send your right heel to the sky. Exhale, step through to lunge next to your right thumb here. So right knee is directly over your right ankle. Your left knee is lifted for the moment. Feel your strength. Press your left heel back behind you. Gaze out in front of you. You can feel a slight opening through your heart. Here for an inhale. Exhale, lower your knee down to the ground on the left side. Inhale, low crescent lunge. Reach your arms overhead. So we're gonna hold here in our low crescent lunge for a couple breaths. So maybe you bring your hands down to your hips. I want you to feel this stretch along the front side of your left hip flexor here. You can really feel it opening. You can take it as deep as you want. Now you don't want your right knee to extend over your right ankle too much. So you can always toe heel your right foot forward a little bit to help you sink a little bit deeper. Last step is to reach your arms overhead. This is gonna draw your shoulders down your back. One more inhale. And exhale, cactus your arms. So create the goalpost, take your gaze up. You're feeling this in your mid to upper spine, opening through your heart and chest. Breathe here. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale back to crescent, low lunge. Exhale, plant your hands down to the ground. Lift your back knee. And then you're gonna step back into a high plank. Now we're holding here for 2 rounds of breath. Inhale. Hold here for your exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's take the other side. Inhale, left leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, lunge, step through to your left thumb. Right knee stays lifted to begin. You want to make sure your left knee is directly over your left ankle, gazing out in front of you. And then exhale, drop your right knee down to the ground. Inhale, low crescent lunge, reach your arms overhead. Now again, maybe drop your hands down to your hips. I want you to focus on the front side of your right hip flexor. Again, take this as deep as you want, or lift your hands overhead. Keep breathing. Exhale, drop your hands down to the ground. Now curl your right toes, lift your right knee off the ground, step back into high plank. Hold here in your high plank, keep breathing, press the mat away from you. Hold here for your exhale. And then send your hips high for downward facing dog. Breathe here, inhale. Exhale, let it go. You release it from your mouth. This helps to release any heat that you may be building up. Now we're gonna move along. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, step through to lunge. We were just here, keeping your left knee lifted this time. We're not gonna drop down at all. Unless you feel the need to, always know you can drop your knee. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. So reach your arms overhead. You're keeping a deep bend through your right knee, so it's directly over your right ankle. Left heel is lifted. Open up through the back side of your left thigh. Reach your fingers up high and hug in through your belly here. One more inhale. On your exhale, cactus your arms. Create the goalpost, gaze up to the sky here. So you're drawing your elbows and your shoulders back behind you, keeping that bend here through your front knee. We're building strength. Inhale, reach your arms back overhead, crescent lunge. Exhale, plant your hands down into lunge. Now listen up here. Inhale, skandasana to the left. So creep and crawl to the left, all the way over, bend through your left knee, straighten through your right leg. Now you can feel an opening. Keep your right toes flexed. We're only going to hold this here for a couple seconds, then we're going to take another variation of skandasana. So from here, plant your hands under your shoulders and lift. So we want a 90-degree bend in our left knee. Plant your feet down so all of your toes are faced out in front of you. So this is a big stretch here through your hips, but as you keep your hands down to the ground and keep your chest lifted, you can shine through your heart. You're gonna feel this through your back. This is gonna be a heart opener. One more inhale. Exhale, creep and crawl back to center and fold forward. Prasarita, Padottanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, creep and crawl to the right. We're coming back to lunge at the front of the space and then moving into a runner's lunge. So drop your left knee, toe heel your right foot off towards the edge of the mat. Find any variation here that you want, and you will feel that big stretch through the front side of your left hip here. So play around with it. You can take it as deep as you want and keep breathing. One more round of breath. Now lift, curl your left toes, lift your left knee off of the ground. Now step back into high plank. We're gonna hold here for 2 rounds of breath. Inhale, hold for your exhale. One more round, inhale, press the mat away, puff up through your shoulder blades. And exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, inhale, left leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step through to lunge next to your left finger. So keep your right knee lifted, left knee over left ankle. Low body stays the same. Inhale, crescent lunge, reach up overhead, keep the bend in the left knee, lift through your right heel. Now as you lift through your fingers, maybe you take your gaze up, finding more opening through your heart. Draw your shoulders down your back. One more inhale. And exhale, cactus your arms here. Draw your shoulders and elbows down, creating goalposts with your arms. Opening up through your heart. Noticing your emotions. You feel vulnerable. Keep breathing. Inhale. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, drop your hands down. Now listen up. Inhale, skandasana to the right. Creep and crawl all the way. Begin by bending your right knee. Extend your left leg out to the side. Just here for 1 round. And plant your hands underneath your shoulders. Now lift up through your left knee about 90 degrees. Plant your feet on the ground so both toes or faced out in front of you. Right knee at 90 degrees. Back is long and straight, opening through your heart. One more inhale. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, creep and crawl back to center, Prasarita. Exhale, fold forward. Take your gaze back behind you. Shift a little bit of your weight into your toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lunge to the front, creep and crawl to the left. Bend your left knee. Inhale, step back, high plank. Hold here for your exhale. Now one more round of breath. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. One round of breath together. Exhale, let it go. Now we're going to move through that same sequence, but we're going to link breath and movement together. Hey, Caddy, thanks for joining. All right, so meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step through to lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge, reach overhead. Exhale, cactus your arms, shine your chest. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, lunge, drop your hands. Inhale, Skandasana to the left, creep and crawl, just bend your left knee 90 degrees. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lunge to the front, creep and crawl. We're going to skip runner's lunge this time, step back, high plank. Exhale, down dog, send your hips high. Other side, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step through to lunge next to your left thumb. Inhale, crescent, Anjaneyasana, reach up. Exhale, cactus your arms. Inhale, reach back up, crescent lunge. Exhale, low lunge, plant your hands down. Inhale, Skandasana to the right, creep and crawl all the way. Bend your right knee in 90 degrees. And stay for your exhale. Inhale, back to center, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, Prasarita, Padottanasana. Take your gaze back behind you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lunge to the front. Skipping runner's lunge, step back, high plank. Hold here. Deep inhale, press the mat away, feel your strength. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath here in down dog together. Inhale. And on your exhale, shift forward back into your high plank. Now you can hold here in your high plank if you want, or you can drop down onto forearms. So drop one forearm at a time. Preferably, you keep your hands at an 11 with your palms face down. But if you want to interlace your hands in front of your gaze, you can. This gives you a third point of contact. Now you want to press the mat away. Again, lifting up through your shoulder blades. We're holding this for a minute and time has already begun. Always know here in your forearm plank, you can drop to your knees. You can drop one at a time to give yourself just a little bit of a break and come back up. Now here we want to draw our heart forward. We want to send our elbows back to our toes. Awesome job. Keep breathing. Couple more rounds of breath. Maybe drop to your knees if you need. Beautiful job. Two more breaths. Inhale. Hold for your exhale. Last one. Inhale. Push through. And exhale. Lower all the way down into Sphinx pose. So you want to keep your hands at an 11. Palms pressed into the ground. Pull your elbows back. And this is going to open up your heart. You're pulling your chest forward, pulling your elbows back. If you gaze up, keep breathing here through Sphinx. You feel an opening through your belly, through your hip flexors, through your chest and your heart. One more inhale. And exhale, lower all the way down. Now stack your hands one on top of the other. Place your forehead down. Maybe just one round of breath here. We're gonna move into locust pose. So we've been doing cactus arms all throughout class. So go ahead and bring your arms to a cactus. Again, creating goalposts with your arms here. Chin down to the mat. Press the tops of your feet into the mat so much that your knees lift. Now with your locust, on your inhale, lift your head, your neck, your arms off of the ground. And then exhale, lift your feet, point your toes back behind you. Work the top of your head in front of you. You're almost balancing here on the soft part of your belly. Squeeze your elbows back. Keep breathing. Inhale and exhale. One more round. Lift up a little bit more. And exhale, lower all the way down onto the ground. Now reverse Shavasana. Drop your right ear to the ground, gaze to the left. Hands rest down next to your body. Go ahead and just take a couple breaths here. Just slow down your heart rate. Inhale, chin back to center. And then exhale to the right. Drop your left ear to the ground, reverse Shavasana. Again, just another couple of rounds of breath. Maybe this is more for me than for you. Feels so good in the sun. Inhale, chin back to center. Now draw your hands under your shoulders. Curl your toes. Inhale, press up into tabletop. And then just come to an easy seated position here. So we are going to move through a couple peak postures of class. And I really want to break these down and then maybe move through like a little short flow with them. So the first one we're going to break down is Chaturanga Dandasana, which is essentially a 4-part sequence of postures that we link together with our breath. So we start in a high plank, we lower down into a low plank, we move into an upward facing dog, and then we move into a downward facing dog. Now you see chaturangas very often within yoga classes. So if you hear teachers refer to move through your vinyasa, move through your flow, move through your chaturanga dandasana, this is exactly what it means. And there are many different ways that you can move through it with different modifications, depending on how you're doing on that specific day. So I always encourage people to start off by doing your chaturangas from your knees and doing multiple classes, maybe doing it for months at a time before you lift up off of your knees. Because the one thing you really want to have is enough upper body strength to protect your shoulders. So where we're starting here is from a high plank. Now we have been in high plank multiple times already in class. Wrist under your shoulders, step back into your high plank. Now again, if your hips are too high, draw them back to center. If you feel them sagging, bring them back to center. But those are both good cues that you should maybe drop down to your knees and build up a little bit more strength in your core and your arms before you move to the fullest variation. So, high plank to start, drop down to your knees. So here you're in an extended tabletop. We're not in our traditional tabletop where our knees are under our hips. Our knees are a little bit more back, but our wrists are still under our shoulders. So from here, you want to inhale, shift forward. You're almost finding just a slight tuck of your tailbone. You're pulling your heart forward. And exhale. Use the strength of your arms to lower all the way down onto the ground. Now your hands are already under your shoulders. The tops of your feet are rooted into the earth. Inhale for cobra. We've been here before. Lift up. And then exhale to tabletop and then downward facing dog. So again, doing that for many classes, maybe many months at a time before you graduate to the next step up. The most common injury we see with chaturangas are going to be shoulder injuries. Because as you come into your high plank, if you're not engaged through your shoulders, they're going to sink down, and that is going to be stretching out your ligaments and your tendons, which over time won't contract back, and it just causes a lot of injuries within the shoulder girdle. So that is why building up that strength by dropping to your knees and lowering down, like you're still getting a very good workout with that lower. And as you do that, you're hugging up through your low belly. Now, when I say hug up through your low belly, I don't mean to suck in. I mean to literally engage, pull your belly button back to your spine. So we broke down the modified variation. I'm going to show you the fullest variation so you know where you are progressing towards after you have done the consecutive chaturangas from your knees. You know where you're going. Again, high plank. That's where we're starting. Instead of lowering to your knees, you keep them lifted. You're gazing out in front of you, reaching your heart forward. On your inhale, you're shifting forward just slightly, almost just coming onto the balls of your toes. And then exhale, you're lowering down halfway. Now you're hugging your elbows in so much. As you lower down halfway, you don't want your elbows splaying out. They're right next to your torso. Lower down halfway, they're at 90 degrees. Tops of your feet root to the earth. Lengthen through your arms, upward facing dog. Now this is a huge heart opener here. You want to draw your shoulders down. Your knees and your hips are lifted. And then upward facing dog. So I want you to right now move into a high plank. We're going to move through this together. So starting in our high plank, go ahead and drop down to your knees. We're in an extended tabletop inhale, shift forward, tuck through your tailbone, and exhale, lower all the way down. Your arms may shake, that's okay, you're building strength. Tops of your feet root into the earth, inhale, cobra, lift up. Exhale, release into your tabletop and downward facing dog. Beautiful, go ahead and drop to your knees. Now let's move through that fullest variation together if you want to. Otherwise, keep on your knees. Let's just do another variation from our knees if you're not ready to progress to that fullest expression. Here in our high plank or tabletop, shift forward, exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog, straighten your arms, knees and hips lift, draw your shoulders back. And exhale, downward facing dog. Use your core to send your hips high. Now that is a big move there. You can feel a lot of strength building through your arms and opening through your chest and your heart. Now the next posture I want to move through is going to be camel, Ustrasana. And when anytime a teacher says camel pose, I automatically go, ugh. This is not my favorite pose. But it means that I need to do it more. Those postures that you despise, it just means that it's hard for your body to do that. And it just means you need to do more and more of it. And then eventually you may or may not learn to love that posture. So camel pose, I'm first gonna have us do it from our knees, and then I'm gonna have us stand up and do it from mountain pose. So come to your knees and just stand up here. So I already feel right now a big stretch through the front of my hip flexors, and I feel a little bit of a kind of a stretch through my low back. So for camel pose, we want to bring our hands to the top of our bum, almost as if we're trying to put our fingers into jean pockets, and draw your elbows back behind you as much as you can. Your chest is going to lift, your heart is going to lift, you're going to feel strong and powerful. Maybe your gaze goes up just a little bit. So this is a really good place to start. And as you do this, you're going to press your hips forward. You're going to press your heart forward as you slowly start to gaze up. Now you want to keep breathing here in your camel pose. Keep working your hips forward, and you can slowly just walk your gaze a little bit further back, and then just find a good stopping point. Take a couple rounds of breath here. One more round. Push your hips forward. Now to release, just slowly rise back up and then sit back onto your heels. So that one for me, I think is so hard because my hip flexors are so tight. I spent so much time sitting at a desk in front of a computer that now my hip flexors, they need a lot of help in opening up. And this type of posture almost makes me feel like I'm short of breath. So continuing to breathe is going to be so important. So now let's try it standing. Let's come standing at the top of our mat, Tadasana. Feet are about hip width distance. Again, palms are facing forward. Lift up high through the top of your head. Feel strong through your Tadasana. Now from here, draw your hands back behind you as if you're trying to place them into back pockets. Draw your elbows back behind you as well. Now you're almost pressing your hips forward with your hands as you do this. Lift up through your chest and just gaze up to the sky or the ceiling. Lifting up and bending through your mid to upper back. So you slowly take your gaze back, press your hips forward as much as you can, stretching through the front side of your body. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. And then inhale, slowly rise up to standing. Release your arms. Beautiful work today. Inhale, extended mountain reach. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, let it go. Go ahead and plant your hands and just sit down into a little tiny yogi ball. Now we want to find some compression here. So maybe you grab for your wrists or whatever you can in front of your shins. Pull your knees into your chest. We've been opening up through our heart and chest so much. Now we want to kind of compress in, finding a nice counter action. Now go ahead and drop down to your hips. Come back towards the middle of your mat here. So we're going to find a gentle figure four. So keep your knees bent here, very gentle bend. And you're going to bring your right ankle to the top of your left knee. Now hang out here as long as you want. To take it deeper, you just draw your left heel back towards your left glute. Keep your right toes flexed towards your right knee, and then send your right knee towards the front of the space, just finding a very gentle hip opening. Now your arms are kickstanded back behind you. You can open up through your heart and your chest here as well. Draw your elbows and shoulders down your back. Close your eyes. Maybe breathe into the outside edge of your right hip here. Now to release, we're just going to toe heel our left foot back out. Release your right leg, maybe pedal them out here. Now we're going to find this on the other side. Bend your right knee very gently, and then take your left ankle over your right knee here. So finding figure four, left toes are flexed towards your left knee. To take it deeper, draw that right heel back towards your glutes. You'll feel this stretch become deeper on the outside of your left hip. Now hands are kickstand behind you. Again, lift up through your heart and your chest. Close your eyes. Breathing where you need to. Send your breath to those areas of tightness and tension. One more round of breath. Now to release, toe heel your right foot out. Release your left leg and pedal them out here. Now we're going to do a seated forward fold. So extend your legs out in front of you so they're long and straight. Flex your toes back towards your face. Now if you have tight hamstrings or calves, go ahead and bend your knees a little bit here. Remove any real estate from underneath your hips. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. And on your exhale, hinge at your hips. So keep your spine long and straight. Keep reaching out in front of you. Keep your heart lifted. as you hinge at your hips, and then eventually grab for what you can. You can grab for your outside edges of your feet, your big toes. Keep your spine long and straight. And to bend and take it deeper, bend through your elbows. Pull your heart forward. Find a deeper compression in your internal organs. Now, if you want just to release a little bit of tension from your cervical spine, just gaze down at your knees. We don't want you curling all the way in. We still want spine long and straight, but you can gaze down and find a neutral spine. Keep breathing here. Again, we've been opening up our heart so much, it's good to find that counter posture. So inhale to release, slowly walk your hands up your thighs, coming back to a seated position. Now bend your knees. We're gonna come lying down onto our back. Reach your arms out in front of you, and then slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Bring your knees in, hug up into a little tiny ball. And exhale, full body stretch, kick it out. Reach your hands back behind you. Now bend your knees here. Toe heel your feet out towards the edges of the mat. And then let your knees drop in towards the midline. They will eventually maybe come together and support each other towards the middle of your mat. Now bring one hand to belly, one hand to heart, and close your eyes. Come back to your breath. Find some space through your inhales and your exhales as you lengthen. Feel your body rise on your inhales as you draw your breath in. And feel your body lower on your exhale as the breath pushes out by your diaphragm. A couple more rounds of breath here in this constructive rest. Now to release, slowly toe heel your feet back towards the center of the mat. Let the soles of your feet bring together, and then drop your knees open wide as they open like a book. Now find opposite hand to belly and heart. Close your eyes. Take your breath down into the depths of your hips, breathing into the inside edges of your hips as they open up. Again, big, deep belly breaths here. One more round. Draw your hands down to the edges of your legs, and on your inhale, draw your knees back to center very gently. Inhale your knees back to the center, find a little tiny yogi ball. And exhale, full body stretch. Now today for our twist, we're gonna find eagle legs. So wrap your right knee over your left. Now lift your hips up high, draw them over to the right, and your knees will naturally drop to the left. Now you have the option here to take it a little bit deeper by drawing your gaze over your right shoulder. Really big twist here through your entire spine. Keep breathing. Use your exhales to wring out your spine a little bit more. On your inhale, slowly bring your knees back to center, unwind your legs, maybe pedal them out. And then we're gonna find eagle legs on the other side. So left leg over your right. Draw your hips to the left, and your knees will automatically drop to the right. Now, again, to take it deeper, maybe you gaze over your left shoulder. Close your eyes if you can. Root your hands into the earth if you can. Twisting from your mid to your upper spine. Trying to root both shoulders into the ground. One more round. Inhale back to center. Go ahead and unwind your legs, pedal them out. Now take any last posture that really speaks to you here. I like to stretch it out one last time. You can find a happy baby. But we're gonna move into our Shavasana, which is corpse pose. So stay here, lying on your back. Just bring your arms next to your body, palms face up. Close your eyes. Settle into the rhythm of your natural breath. Let your toes splay open towards the edges of your mat. Really soften through your feet, through your ankles, through your calves. Soften here through your knees and your thighs. Let your hips melt into the earth. Soften here through your fingers, through your wrists, through your arms and elbows. Draw your shoulders down into the earth. Feel an opening here through your heart as you do that. Now soften here through your cervical spine, through your jaw, through your cheeks. Maybe release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Maybe your lips come a gap just a little bit. Release any pressure or tension through your eyes. Soften through your eyelids. Draw your ears down. Soften through the area right in between your eyes. Your third eye center, your eye of intuition. Soften through the crown of your head, through your temples. Feel your weight supported underneath you, as if you're floating on clouds. It's been a true honor to lead you through this basics practice, which I think is so important for all levels of yoga, to just slow it down and move back to the basics. Again, I'm Mackenzie, representing YogaPod Fort Collins. We're going to be streaming multiple live classes a day until we're able to get back into the studio. So thank you so much for joining, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.